For tonight's sleep story, we travel to the south of France. I'm Stephen Fry, and I'll be your guide as we meander lazily through the lavender fields and sleepy villages of Provence. The story was written by Phoebe Smith and is called Blue Gold. You'll smell it before you even see it. That unmistakable aroma that fills your nose and seeps into your senses, instantly mellowing into a smooth and soothing scent. You breathe deeply, inhaling and exhaling this floral cloud, and as you do, something unexplained washes over you. Slowly at first, you feel your body begin to release its pent-up tension. Your breath becomes deeper, deliberate, calm. Inexplicably, those deep lines in your furrowed brow, one by one, unfurl as you slowly and gently begin to relax. The scent is lavender. Here, in the southeastern corner of France, between the foothills of Mont Ventoux and the village of Sceaux, you are in deepest Provence, home to perhaps the most famous lavender fields in the entire world. And every year, between mid-June and early August, the green fields burst into a vivid color as the plants come into full bloom. First brought over to Europe thousands of years ago by traders from what was once known as Persia, now modern-day Iran, this aromatic plant has long been revered for its calming properties. It can be found worldwide, of course, from the stone-strewn mountains of the Mediterranean, Spain, and Portugal, to the quaint gardens of Britain, the Pacific states of the USA, the lower reaches of South Africa, and Australia's state of Victoria. But it is perhaps most famous in this southeastern corner of France. It was classed as a precious plant by the ancient Greeks, and Romans used to extract its essential oil when bathing. Its name actually comes from the Latin word lavare, which means to wash. Just after the coming of the summer solstice, as you drive deeper into the myriad fields that glow almost blue in the early morning light, you allow the scent to wash over you, breathing it in deeper with every comforting breath. Following the winding road, you weave between the yellows of spelt and wheat fields until you begin to see even more of the colors glowing.
Welcome
somewhere
to
between
Boring
a deep
History
purple
to help you sleep.
and a light
Tonight,
blue,
and we drift back in time,
a whole
way back
network of
to the land
vibrant
between the
fields
rivers,
open
to a
out
place
before
called
you,
Mesopotamia,
rising and
a place
folding
of sun-dried bricks,
beneath the
flowing
foothills of
rivers,
Mont Ventoux.
and scribes with styluses. Tonight
This
we explore
limestone
clay
peak
tablets,
is
how they were
famed
made,
less for
why
its
they matter,
location
and
above
why,
the purple
somehow,
haze,
they survived
and
for
more
thousands of
for
years.
its summit roads,
The part
which
one,
each summer see
birth of
on
writing.
its northern
It
aspect
all began
cyclists
more than 5,000 years ago.
determinedly
In
riding,
Sumer, in the
ascending
southern part of
on the
ancient
Tour de
Mesopotamia,
France race.
people needed a way to keep records.
However,
Who owed grain?
on its
How many
southern
goats?
flanks,
Which
the
temple got
focus
what
is
offerings?
definitely not on
So they took
speed,
wet clay, soft,
but on
smooth,
the
and
lack of
ready, and began pressing
For
marks into it
between
with
its
a reed.
slopes and the
These
fortified
marks
village
became
of Sceaux,
symbols, and those
the
symbols
lavender
became
fields
writing. We call
spread
it
out,
cuneiform because of the wedge-shaped
offering not
strokes.
only a sight
Cue,
to behold,
nay, form.
but also a network of
Part two,
walking
making
or
a clay
cycling
tablet.
paths
To make
that
a
you can
tablet,
wander
you start
or
with good
pedal
river
through
clay,
on
not
a
too dry,
meandering journey
not too wet.
to take
You
in
form it into a
this
square,
sublime
or sometimes a
spectacle
rectangle.
at a
Some were
distinctly
palm-sized, others
slow
as big as a dinner plate.
pace,
Then, with a stylus, usually a cut reed,
leaving
you
the
press
car
symbols
behind.
carefully,
You
line by
hear
line,
the reassuring
top to bottom.
crunch of the
When the
gravel
tablet is
beneath
finished,
your shoe
you can leave it to dry in the
as you
sun
tread
or bake it in a
deeper
kiln
and deeper
to make it last
into
longer.
the lavender
That's why many
fields.
tablets survived, even through
The
fires,
plants are
even through
arranged in
wars, because
pleasing
they were
lines
already baked.
of purple
To part 3.
which
was
stretch
written?
out
Clay
down
tablets were
towards
used
the
for everything.
ochre-washed farms.
Receipts, tax records,
Valley
marriage contracts, school exercises,
around you.
magic spells,
Bees
even recipes.
land on the
One
buds,
tablet reads, 2 goats
gathering
delivered to the temple
amber
of
nectar
Inanna.
from
Account of
the
Enlil
flowers.
Bani simple, dry, precise.
But though they are working
Some tablets
hard,
were meant to last.
even
Others were
their
temporary,
movement
erased and
seems
reused.
to be
But some
unhurried.
told stories, like the epic
twirl
of Gilgamesh,
and
one of the oldest stories in the
between
world,
plants,
written
methodically.
on clay. Your part 4,
Later,
scribal life.
the honey that they
Scribes were
produce
special.
from
They trained for
Provence's
years,
so-called
practicing on
blue
clay
gold
over and over,
can be
copying
sampled.
words, lists,
But for now,
phrases. Sometimes
rather
the teacher
than
would correct
tasting the
mistakes.
byproduct
Other
of this
times, the
process,
student had to copy the
you
same
join
sentence
them
10
by
times.
languidly
Their
bimbling
handwriting
along the
mattered.
way-marked
Their
purple
accuracy
promenades,
mattered more. The
strolling
best
from
scribes
one
worked for
plant
temples or kings.
to another.
They earned respect, but
Gradually,
not always riches.
you
The
stretch
scribe's
out
day
your
was
arm
long, quiet,
touch the
repetitive.
silvery green
Like
leaves
this video.
that
Part
feel
5. The
feathery,
libraries of clay. Some
long.
buildings held thousands of tablets, organized
moving
on
your
shelves,
hand up
grouped
to
by
the
subject,
flower.
cataloged with
You
care.
let it brush
The most
beneath your
famous is the
fingertips.
Library of Ashurbanipal in
As you
Nineveh.
do,
Thousands of clay
you can
tablets
detect each
stored in
one of
rooms.
the small blooms
Some still intact today.
that make up the
They
head
waited for centuries, under dust and dirt, until discovered.
spirals. Each time, your touch causes a microcloud of perfume to permeate the air. Strolling between the farmland, save for the slow, rhythmic sound of your own relaxed breathing. All you can hear is the occasional melodic tinkle coming from the bells that adorn the necks of the goats and sheep that are grazing on the hillsides. Looking above, the sky is becoming brighter as the sun rises above the flanks of the mountain. Far up above the trees, you spy something also moving in slow curves, floating on the thermals. It's the short-toed eagle soaring overhead, gracefully floating as he watches over this indigo patchwork of fields from the air. You continue on the path, arriving at an old stone-built distillery. The air becomes even thicker with scent, so strong you stop to savor it with every fiber of your body. As you open the old wooden door, the stills glow golden in the sunlight. Inside one, a fire is lit, its orange flames licking the wood hungrily, heating up great vats of water above. As it boils and bubbles, it produces dense clouds of steam. Rising slowly, the vapor passes through the clusters of lavender placed inside. As the flowers heat up, they begin to release their molecules from their petals into the mist. This is carried up, lighter than air, into the condenser, where as it floats through a coil, it's cooled by water, causing it to turn back into a liquid now rich in lavender oil. Patience is the name of the game, as, over time, the oil naturally rises, separating from the water until it's ready to be collected. When the time comes and the lid of the still is removed, the workshop fills once more with the sweet-smelling aroma of over 1,000 flowers. Visiting at peak season, you can see local lavender farmers come from miles around, bringing their plants to be distilled in such a way. The oil is famed for its use in aromatherapy, said to elicit calm in even the most stressed soul. Its delicious and distinct scent not only soothes the senses, but also has a sedative effect, aiding sleep to come naturally. And there's a distinctly sleepy feel over at another famous Provence site to the southwest. Set on the edge of the Vaucluse Mountains, along the Luberon Valley, high on a promontory, is the hilltop town of Gordes. Nestled within is a place called Notre-Dame de Sénanque, or Sénanque Abbey. This grey-stoned building, replete with its rounded turret and pyramidal spire, was founded in 1148. Though lived in by different groups over the years, nowadays its ecclesiastical residents are a group of Cistercian monks, and much like many residents in the region, they also grow their own fields of lavender. Spending their days tending the fields, they not only harvest the plants to create their own version of the essential oils for use in aromatherapy, soaps, or perfume, but they also keep bees who, like them, tend the fields and help them bring in further revenue from their heavenly honey. So slow is the pace of life at Sénanque that some guests opt to stay on, undertaking a spiritual retreat amid the monks. Here, for up to 8 days, you can not only drink in the daily fragrance of lavender by meandering in the gardens, but also attend the daily meal times in complete and total silence. Join one of the services in the inner church, or spend your time meditating on your own mission to find your inner calm. But for many, simply strolling the fields can in themselves offer a kind of spiritual as well as physical journey. And, as anyone knows, all journeys have a tendency to work up an appetite. Luckily, in Provence, even culinary treats are influenced by the purple fields that surround them. Inside the local shops, you find bunches of the flowers tied ready to be taken home and hung up in the kitchen, offering a much-needed portable portion of the sweet, nourishing scent. You'll also see little vials of the distilled oil that you can later drop into a bath or drip onto your pillow. But look a little closer, and you'll also spy lavender-infused food. From breads to tea, salad dressing to ice cream, there are so many delectable creations to sample, each offering some inner calm to your belly. Part of the mint family, the flowers offer a floral, herbal addition to a dish. After walking the Chemin des Lavandes, lavender path, try a sorbet to feel the explosion of a sweet yet bitter taste on your tongue. Or take your time to infuse some dried petals in hot water and drink in its earthy tones slowly in the late afternoon, while readying for the spectacular sight of the flowers in early evening. As the sun sets, the mottled pinkish-purple tones begin to paint the landscape into a work of art, rivaling any famous painting by one of the many artists, Cézanne, Picasso, Van Gogh, Monet, who so loved the region. They are not alone in their affection for it. Every year, on August the 15th, a celebration comes to Sceaux, bringing visitors from far and wide to commemorate the end of the season's harvest. For 30 years it's taken place, and for that one single day and into the evening, this quiet and tranquil hamlet comes alive in festivities. Traditional costumes are worn, while the sounds of age-old folk tunes are sung in the valley, their tuneful ditties reverberating through the remaining wild dashes of lavender, while people dance and raise a glass to the successful yield in this Le Pays Bleu, the blue country. As the music carries on, market stalls are set up by local producers who have come to sell their wares, from pottery to sacks of dried flowers, potpourri, handmade cosmetics and soaps, and of course, freshly distilled lavender made from that same year. A market like this has been held on Wednesdays since the year 1515. And tradition continues with the annual highlight, the competition, where local harvesters take to a field to cut the last of the lavender plants in the traditional way, with a plough or sickle.